Hello, this is Matt on the Moon Lambo channel. I'm going to share with you perspective from multiple XRP chart analysts, including one who says that XRP is absolutely ready to outperform the rest of the market, though, of course, if you've been paying attention, you know it's actually been doing that a fair bit recently. He says it's hilarious how rich we're all about to get. So here's the thing. If indeed we are going to see expansion of the stock market, an expansion in the world of crypto, an actual alt season, then yeah. That is what happens. And so for those people who have sufficient exposure, and as long as you don't be completely ridiculous and overly greedy, I mean, there are ways humans can botch this, but outside of that, is the opportunity going to present itself for so many of you listening to become, as he says, hilariously rich? I think more likely than not, the answer is yes. And in fact, there's additional macro information that you're going to want to be aware of because XRP doesn't run on its own. It's never run to new all-time highs or anything of meaning without the rest of the market going with it. And so I've got some good news for you. There's good reason to believe that that's exactly what's going to be in store. But of course, if the rest of the world falls apart, it's completely irrational to think that XRP would be the one shining star that doesn't. But of course, on the flip side, to all the XRP haters out there that say, no, everything's going to run Bitcoin $100,000 plus. We're going to have an alt season, but XRP's not going to participate. That is even more stupid, in fact. So anyway, sit back, enjoy. I got some good stuff for you here. But before going further, I do want to be clear. I do not have a financial background of any kind. I am not offering financial advice. And you definitely should not buy or sell anything because of anything I say or write. I'm just an enthusiast who enjoys making YouTube videos about crypto-related topics, but just as a hobby and just for fun. As I record this video, it is 3:14 a.m. That's right, early in the morning for me here, 3:14 a.m. Central Time, Thursday, August 15th now, 2024. XRP at 56 cents, Bitcoin at $58,110, so a little bit of red in the market, but nothing crazy. In fact, the Crypto Fear and Greed Index at 29 out of 100, so we are still in fear. Good news is, markets don't peak in fear. I've not seen that happen before. I mean, maybe if you're some crazy black swan event happens, okay. Outside of that, that's not normal. Markets peak when there's complete euphoria, exactly when they should have fear. Then shortly after they develop fear. But these are not the types of times where you should expect it to happen. We got some good news in the morning. Technically yesterday, but I count it as today, damn it, because I haven't gone to sleep yet. It's not tomorrow until I go to sleep. It's my channel, damn it, I do what I want. But here's the headline from CNBC, and you'll love to see it, right? Annual inflation rate slows to 2.9% in July, lowest since 2021. Now, truth be told, if you look at that in a vacuum, that's actually bad. That's too high. But directionally, the rate of increase, at least it's going in the right direction, but it is still absolutely an increase. This is, if you consider that maybe 2% would historically be pretty normal, that means that this is about 50% higher than it should be. So in a vacuum, not very good, but the market likes this, responding favorably, numbers coming in better than what was expected. Lowest again since 2021. Stock market broadly responding favorably. Here you can see from Barron's, stock market news, Dow higher after CPI inflation data. And so let's cut to the chase here, though. Why should we care about this? Why does this matter at all? Well, look, we need to talk about this too. Do you think it's good or bad if the Fed is going to cut interest rates? If the federal funds rate decreases, is that a good sign or a bad sign? Well, you can look at various points of history to show that we don't know for sure, actually. The last 3 times there's been a decrease in the federal funds rate, it has been the case that what followed shortly thereafter were notable crashes. And that is true. That's true. I also shared with you perspective from chart analyst, and this is just data he highlighted, chart analyst Matthew Hyland. Some of you may recall this. Is probably at some point within the last week. I shared in a video that he was like, hey, it's not always the case that when the interest rates are cut, that everything is definitely going to crash. He says that's a false narrative. And so if somebody says that it's a guarantee, every time this happens, yes, it's going to crash, well, then I would agree. That would be a false narrative. But the last few times, yes, that has happened. But he highlighted, I can't remember the exact time frame, but there was a span of maybe a few decades in the second half of the previous century in the 1900s. And he highlighted, he's like, look, here's the times that the Fed decreased the rate And actually, there was no negative consequence. And one that I had been citing as recently, or as far back as maybe January of this year, was the example of, in the 90s, there was a decrease then, and you didn't really see a pullback, and you had a boom throughout the 90s, really. So it's not a foregone conclusion that we're going to see move to the downside, but the fact that we are in this position, it's actually making it more likely that we are going to see that rate cut. And so all I'm arguing, I'm not saying that it's one way or the other. All I'm saying is we literally don't know for sure, but the market for sure perceives this as good. So even if you're one that believes, and this is fine if you do, if you believe that what's most likely is we're going to see a move to the downside for markets ultimately, even if not immediately, if we're going to see that move to the downside, and we're going to have a major bear market. Okay, but the good news is, even if that happens, historically, there's still time for markets to rally before that, which means if history is to more or less rhyme with itself, as we've seen over much of the last decade, we'd still have our opportunity, even in that scenario. And so there is this post from Jurrien Timmer. Now, he is the director of global macro at Fidelity. This guy is incredibly smart, and he's one of those people that, as I'm scrolling through my X feed and I see any post from him, I pause and I stop and I say, oh, what's he saying now? Smart guy, tons of data, very insightful, always able to, off the top of his head, share wisdom based from a historic perspective. And he's saying, honestly, it looks like rates is probably going to go down. So he shared the chart on your screen here. It titled Monetary Policy, and he said, while rate cuts can be a double-edged sword when done for the wrong reasons, the Fed now has a clear license to ease, which means that the cost of capital is about to decline for both businesses and home buyers and the Treasury. All my iterations of the Taylor rule suggest that the Fed can cut to at least 4% and possibly lower if recent disinflation trends persist. And so he thinks that we actually are going to get the rate cut. And we know that, again, right or wrong, the market perceives that as positive. And we know that if we get that, that doesn't mean it's the end of the world. And historically, understand, like, these rate cuts, they don't cause markets to fall apart. The rate cuts are in response to, sometimes, to things that are unfolding in a very bad, super scary looking way. And so the Fed, and frequently it's too late, but they try to right the ship. And so that's why those things correlate. It's not that the rate cuts themselves cause any sort of crash. They're in response to what's happening in the world. And I'd rather the Fed just have their hands off and let the market be the market. That's the type of guy I am. Just, don't interfere. But since they're doing this, I'm just noting these are the types of things that we have seen historically unfold. And so, of course, the reason that they even ramped up the interest rate in the first place is because inflation was so out of control, because the dollar was so debased, printed into oblivion. And that's what, of course, caused the inflation. Too many dollars chasing too few goods, right? So what they did was they tried to discourage people buying stuff by increasing rates, products and services, make it more expensive. So if you're a business or a regular individual, you want to take out a loan for something, well, that costs you a whole lot more money. You're discouraged from doing that. That's why they're doing it. Now with interest rates coming down, they're wanting to flip that. And so I still think what's most probable, this is just my for fun guess, I'm just a dude on the internet, but my guess would be either way, market's still going to rally. And so, part of the reason that people are saying this is positive, I understand the argument, and there have been times, again, where it has been, is because if this is indeed the case, if you're talking about lowering interest rates, that would have a very quick effect. It would be the same as a liquidity increase, effectively, because you're going to encourage people and businesses to take on more debt, because it's going to be less expensive to do so. The less expensive something is, the more you're encouraging people and businesses to do those things. So that's the thought process behind it. So you're talking about more liquidity. We also know that as liquidity increases historically, very good for markets, because people got to put their money somewhere on top of that. And so there can be different reasons that you have an increase in liquidity, obviously. And here, yes, so we're talking about how people might respond as it relates to a cut in the federal funds rate. But there are all sorts of other things happening. I talked recently about how there's that $50 billion, the Fed announced, or was the Treasury announced that they're going to purchase $50 billion worth of bonds. That's a major liquidity injection. There's all sorts of stuff happening here. And there are other reasons I've been citing from various people that track this stuff and actually have a financial background, which is why this is exciting. So I know we're here for crypto and a lot of us here for specifically XRP, but I want you to understand the bigger picture of how this is all tied together, which is why I'm going through the trouble to highlight all these things. This should be exciting to you if you're an XRP holder. We want all of these things to happen. That's the reason that I frequently start videos where I end up talking about XRP, talking about stuff like this first. You need to have this information first so you can understand how important it is. If everybody else that's saying all this stuff about XRP, if they're right too, and it's all coming together, that's notable to me. There's this post, speaking of the money supply. This is from Analyst Quentin, a co-founder of WeRate, and he said, 121,000 followers here, he said, breaking, money supply is about to explode after a 16-month contraction. And he highlighted right here for those who look at the screen, you can see what I'm talking about here. So again, it's just one more thing you can look at, but I'll keep highlighting these things as they pop up. You see all of these things coming together at about the same time. That is what's exciting, because again, XRP doesn't just go on its own. It doesn't. I mean, unless you want to say, okay, July of last year doubled in several hours, but was that sustained? I mean, you could argue that technically it did, but is it in any sort of sustained, meaningful way where we hit a new all-time high? Because that would be meaningful. And then, of course, yes, I understand a new all-time high would be relatively short-lived too, because bubbles ultimately pop. But did it do anything of that caliber? No, it hasn't. But that's why it's so neat to see all of this stuff happening together. There's this post from Chart Analyst Credible Crypto, and I don't want to read it. If you want to read it, it's on your screen. He always has great analysis, but for the sake of time, I'm going to blow past this. I just wanted to note that as he was talking about Bitcoin here, and I just want to note that when he posted this, he didn't have particularly strong conviction about directionally what's going to happen with Bitcoin, just kind of ranged sideways here. And so we've been doing that since the time he posted this in the afternoon. But it doesn't change anything on a big picture. He still has all the confidence in the world. We're going to be blasting past over $100,000 for Bitcoin. He still believes over $10 plus for XRP. And you know what also is interesting too, since it's popped in my head, I'll mention this. I'm sure some of you caught this too because we have audience overlap, but the blockchain backer, he was talking in the morning about how the Russell 2000, he looks like it's just an accumulation pattern. He's expecting that for maybe the next couple weeks or so, that it's probably just going to range sideways. But it seems from what I saw from him, he's actually expecting to move to the upside, which is crucial. If you want your XRP to go, man, it's never done it without expansion of the stock market occurring basically at the same time. Because again, then money flows further out the risk curve. That's the reason. Money flows further out into the small caps, which are considered to be riskier. Same in crypto. Bitcoin's considered to be the safest at the top. Then the further you gotta go down in market cap, that means you're going further out the risk curve. And those cryptos with the lower market caps, the further out you go, are perceived at the moment by the market to be considered more risky. And so if there's more money willing to take on more risk, that's when you start to see it flow into stuff, including XRP. So that's why all of that matters. And it looks like what's most probable is we're going to see that. That's what I'm betting on. We're going to find out together, but that is absolutely what I am betting on. Here's a post from chart analyst Crypto Michael. And he says, it's actually hilarious how rich we're about to get. If you are long Bitcoin and holding the right alts, you will be laughing all the way to the decentralized bank very soon. And so that is something that makes sense to say in this particular environment. I do believe that is the case. And I think that, I mean, it seems like a virtual certainty. And some people will botch this up and some people aren't sufficiently positioned, but I'm willing to bet that a ton of you listening are sufficiently positioned. And we do have this opportunity. And yes, it is real as long as we don't mess it up. And it happens quick. It happens super quick. The whole market goes at roughly the same time. There are some outliers, of course. There always are. But when it goes, and it's a very short-lived thing, and it's very exciting, and it's very fun, and absolutely it can be life-changing. And of course, he says, taking all the money to the decentralized bank. I'm going to take mine to a centralized bank, actually, and I do mean that, but it ain't going to stay there. I'm going to end up investing it in all sorts of other stuff, whether that's... I'll decide what the assets will be. But I'm going to take it, protect it, remove it from volatile markets, and then decide what to do with it at that point. But yeah, it's going to be taken out of the world of crypto, and that will then go back into stuff that's historically far less risky. But that's the point, because I'm going to go into wealth preservation with that at that point. And the new money that because I'm going to keep working and earning money. I don't want to retire ever, to be honest with you. You got to do something with your life, right? So I'll earn new money and put that into crypto during the bear market. But whatever I earn from it, it's out and it's out forever. I go into preservation mode. Now, it will still earn me money. Let time do the heavy lifting there. Compound interest. You can invest into certain things, but yeah. And so he is right. It's just exciting to know that this actually is the moment that we're in, roughly speaking. And XRP is going to be a part of it. If there is an actual run, it's hard to fathom XRP wouldn't participate. It just doesn't compute. Here's a post also from Crypto Michy. He said, XRP is ready to outperform the rest of the market. Watch what happens this week. And so, of course, he knows what's been he charts XRP. He's an XRP bull. He knows what's been happening the last couple months. He meant when he posted this very clearly that even from here, it's going to outperform the market. And so he thinks it's going to happen sooner than later. Again, he said, watch what happens this week. Now, of course, XRP has been outperforming just about every top 100 coin out there. I don't know if you guys knew that, but in a fairly recent video, I was highlighting data that I can't remember which chart guy pulled this up, but he showed that out of maybe it's the top 120 coins he pulled up, XRP was like number 2 in performance. And it was way, way up there. So, I mean, XRP has just been destroying pretty much all of the rest of the market. And then people want to say XRP's a dead dino coin. Get the hell out of here with that nonsense. The market's proving you otherwise. Just let more time pass. And so there's this post from chart analyst Dr. Magic, and he says, XRP has been outperforming the market for 10 straight weeks. Keep complaining about XRPUSD hasn't broke out to the upside yet. The strength that XRP has right now is undeniable and so far sustainable. Now that is spot on. That is absolutely spot on. And he's showing the market cap XRP dominance percentage chart on your screen right now. And these moments where it dips into the green bar, those are the moments that prompted to dramatically move to the upside, which has always been what happens. Duh. And so what, this time is different? I doubt it. I doubt it. Here's an XRPUSD chart from Dr. Magic. XRP bounced from support, still consolidating, nothing wrong with it. And so, to be clear, like we are just ranging right now. It's less exciting than when we're having those big, fun, moving moments, but that's most of what it is to be in crypto. The moments where we're moving up precipitously, those moments are few and far between, and that's okay. But I still find it incredibly exciting knowing that I could wake up any day and just see the market is rocketing to the upside, because that's the environment that we're in. So to me, it's still exciting regardless. And even in the bear market, frankly, I think bear markets are exciting because I'm looking at what to accumulate next, so that when we get to moments like this, I'm prepared. And oh yes, I did. On my channel at the bottom of the bear market, with the FTX collapse at the end of 2022, I talked publicly about all sorts of stuff that I was buying. And I talked about it on X. And see, that's fun. That's fun to talk about. Like, what are we doing? You know, it's one of the reasons, it's one of the extra benefits of having a community here. We can share thoughts and ideas and what makes sense and what doesn't. But the whole thing's fun being in crypto as far as I'm concerned. But this is, of course, I admit, more fun. You know, doing the prep work to get to the point where we're in the bull market, yeah. Bull market's more fun. But I like it all. I do like it all. Here's a post from Dom at TraderView2. He shared this the other day. And it's actually a real short thread. I just wanted to share with you. He said, XRP short-term update. Price has been consolidating pretty hard here. Breakout looks imminent. I don't see strong indicators either way. Breakup will send us back to 63 cents range, and a breakdown will land us back in the green zone. So you see the green zone somewhere around 54 to close to 55 cents, he says. And so that's why, to be clear, like anything that happens in the short term, the more time passes, the more people get beaten down. But that's what I'm just trying to highlight. It doesn't actually matter. None of this matters. It's all noise in the end. That's why it makes sense to pay attention to this and understand that. And then he says, he updated that later. He said, attempting upward break as we speak. And then he highlighted that and said, failed breakout to the upside following Bitcoin on a smaller scale. I don't foresee any crazy price action until we get some more volume coming in. And so to clarify, it's pretty clear what he's stating there, one of the important things anyway. XRP moving in tandem with Bitcoin. The market moves in tandem. There's not something wrong with XRP. It just is doing what it's doing. There was also this post from chart analyst Bobby A, and he said, monthly XRP chart keeps looking more and more beautiful. And I just thought I'd highlight that because it's a broad recognition. Like, I'm telling you, you don't see this many analysts outside of bull markets, the ones I follow anyway, screaming stuff like this so consistently. And it's so obvious to me. They don't normally all talk like this, but they are now. And I'd say it's for good reason. And he says here also, alts are lining up beautifully to outperform during Bitcoin's next impulse. Yeah, well, I certainly believe that. And again, I believe XRP is going to be a part of that. Bitcoin's performance will be dwarfed. Imagine Bitcoin, even if it doubles in price from here, that's a lot of money. So even if it goes to 120,000 or it triples, goes to roughly even close to 180,000. That's a 2 or 3-fold increase. That could, I don't even know if it's going to hit that. Maybe it will. I don't make price predictions. I'm telling you straight up, I don't know. I'm not in the price prediction game. I never have been. I never will be. But I'm just saying, even if that were to happen, do you think that XRP is only going to have a 2 or 3-fold? XRP is going to dramatically outperform Bitcoin, and so many altcoins will. This is the exciting moment. Bitcoin's already done most of the truly exciting stuff. Most of the opportunity for Bitcoin, it's already been had in terms of a multiplier effect. You know, the percentage gain increase, it's already been had. So take it for what it's worth, but we are roughly in this time. So even if we have to wait weeks or months, whatever it ends up being, this is roughly speaking the time. Look at everything coming together on a macro scale. You can look at traditional finance, the stock market, crypto. It's all aligning. That's not what this normally looks like. I'm telling you, this is, having been here 7 years almost now, this is not normally how things come together, but we are in that moment. So as long as we don't get some crazy black swan event, I'm optimistic that what's most probable, though not certain, is that we are going to see some serious moves to the upside. I think expansion for the Russell 2000, a proper alt season, XRP finally hitting a new all-time high and going into price discovery, and melting faces. I'm not a financial advisor. You should not buy or sell anything because if anything I say are right, that would be a very, very, very bad idea. Until next time, to the moon, Lambo.